All right, we're live, yo.
Yo,
What's up,
good?
bro?
Yo, what up, boy?
Charlie the Hustler, episode 2.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, where
Fucking
we at
get
right
it.
now?
We in Massachusetts, bro. You know what I'm
we
saying?
We at the domain.
Go Yankees.
Yo, so okay, it's been 6 months since the last time we talked in person, right?
Yep.
It's been 6 months, and you've done a lot in that time period, right? Well, first thing I wanted to say is that I was re-listening to our last episode just to go through it in my mind and stuff, and I'm like, yo, you lived in Massachusetts, you lived in New York, you lived in Arizona, you lived in Florida, you lived in an RV, and that's where you were living before. Like right after we finished the podcast, you started
Right
living in an
after
RV?
that we finished the podcast, I wound up going to New Hampshire off the grid
Okay.
in an RV. And, with this corona shit, right? And the type of people I deal with and the stuff that I'd be looking up on the internet, my brain got full of fear, and it's not, I guess, I was like prepping and I was getting prepared prepared for whatever would come, which I would feel like maybe a civil war, martial law. That's really what I thought we're on our way to. I'm going to be honest with you, and this is how the system works. Right now, I'm just totally confused. Nothing even happened yet. I'm already beat up. I'm already at a point like, fuck it, should I take the vaccine? Like, I mean, these are the things that run through my mind. And it's a tough time, and it's hard to really get a clear picture on what's going on and what the motive is, and do they want us all in our house?
You don't know who to trust.
I can't trust any information that I'm getting from both sides. It's all inaccurate. And the bottom line is we're never going to know until it's too late. So while I was like off the grid, you want to hear something crazy, man? So there's been times in my life where I'm an obsessive person, right?
Okay.
So obviously graffiti has been my hugest obsession from a child, right? That I could never shake or never left me. But it happened in other ways. It happened with drugs and alcohol to me, obsessing over drugs and alcohol. Then I put that down, right? And I started obsessing over material goods. So, getting the things I never got. So that would be for me like a Rolex, Gucci, like a lavish lifestyle, which I was able to obtain. And once I obtained it, I got severely, severely depressed, and I realized that material goods don't mean anything. So, being my unpredictable personality, once I realized that a Rolex meant nothing and the Lexus meant nothing, then I bought an RV and I went off the grid and I went to the Pocono Mountains, and I started to see how minimal I could live. Now, when I say minimal, I mean, I'm talking about not using a refrigerator, finding out what foods could stay fresh without refrigeration. It's like you don't have to refrigerate eggs. You don't have to refrigerate butter. There's certain things that I've learned that you didn't. So also like my water consumption. Like most people think you think we use all this water all the time. Bro, when it comes down to it, and you have, say, water for cooking, say you're making ramen soup, that's very little water, right? So if you get a couple of gallons of water, that could last you the week. You know what I mean? So then I had, like, it's called gray water, like water that was, like, from a faucet, say, whatever, that I used to wash my hands.
Okay.
Now, even if you wash your hands 30 times a day, right, and you put soap in your hand and you trickle the water, you don't need that much water. Your hands get very clean. It's the same thing. When you go to brush your teeth, you wet the toothbrush. You put the toothpaste on. You need very little. So I started to realize what I really needed to live, right?
Yeah.
And yes, some things are luxuries, but I was able to adapt very quickly to that situation. So since we're talking about the obsession, so I got obsessed with material goods. Then I went off the grid. So then it went the opposite. Then it was like I got obsessed with how little I need, right? And so what happened was, talking about living in fear, is that I had a table in my RV like this, right? I said, I need food storage, but RV is very small. So I was like, yo, if I was watching this guy called the Canadian Prepper, right? He's an interesting dude. He teaches you how to survive, the things you're going to need to survive, right? So I'm watching this dude, right, telling me what I need to survive, and he's like, everything you don't need, get rid of it. So I'm looking at this fucking table, right? And I'm like, yo, I don't need that shit. No one ever sits in that bench. I don't need that bench. I got up and I started demoing. I ripped it out right there, right?
Okay.
And I was like, I'm going to fucking build a table out of big bags of rice. So I was going to stack those big bags of rice and make that my table, right? So the funny thing is that, you know, it was so ridiculous. I did make the room and like for it, but I never even got around to like getting the bags of rice. I heard somebody talk, and they were talking, right? And they were talking about like, yo, I'm living in fear. And then I was like, fuck, that's exactly what the fuck I'm doing. I'm out here, I'm living in fucking fear, man. I'm full of fear. So I made a phone call. I called my boy Keo, Keo X-Men, right? Yeah. He's like my spiritual advisor, right? So I call him. I'm like, yo, man, I'm obsessed with fucking rice and water. He goes to me, Charlie, how many bags of rice are going to make you happy? I said, bro, after I knocked down the table and went to build the rice table, I was still thinking of more storage for more rice. He was like, no amount of rice is going to make you happy, bro. And I was like, damn. It's the same thing with like material goods, money, sex, whatever it is. That stuff is not going to make you happy. Happiness comes from within. And you know, Keo told me, bro, you know what? People were living without electricity and bags of rice only for the 100 years. This is like new, the way we're living. But people survive just fine without all that shit. So he's like, you know, the bottom line is you're going to survive and you're going to be fine if something happens. And if you don't, you just die, and that's it. And helped me come to reality a little bit. And I moved back to civilization. And, you know, I was trying to set up for my girl and her kid a safe place in the middle of nowhere that we would have a spot. Like, it's called the bug out spot. But
like for when the martial law and all that
martial
stuff
law comes and all that, yeah. So I was prepared on every level for that. I'm still
because you had like a machine gun and shit, right?
I mean,
I saw in that video into the woods. You were like,
I mean, there was a I was in New Hampshire, and I was surrounded. The people that I was friends with, they're like good old boys, and not on no races, none like that, but people that collect guns. They love guns, and they love crossbows, and they love ice fishing, shit like that. So I was surrounded by people that had those things. So yeah.
Yo, it's funny. I can definitely relate to what you were saying about like gathering all those goods, because when this shit hit the fan, I was thinking the same thing. Like, yo, civil war's coming, martial law's coming. Like, it's gonna get real out here. Like, people's routines are gonna go out the window. Like, we're gonna resort to our fucking animal instincts. So I like went out and I bought like rice and bean packets that like don't expire for 25 years. I bought like black bean burger mixes. I bought like a bunch of oatmeal boxes. And the thing with that shit, like what you said, it like hit me, because the more I bought it, the more I thought I needed. You know what I mean? I thought like it wasn't enough, and then I started getting like a go bag, like a tactical book bag, and I had like mad shit in it. Yo, I had like
A
campfire.
go bag meaning like it's just a
So
bag you
it's
grab
like,
to go and like
It's
that's
called
it.
the bug out bag.
The
That's what you use. That should have all your survival shit in
Okay.
it.
It
Okay,
sits
okay.
right there, and like if a fucking thing happens within a moment's notice, you grab that shit and you're out. But I noticed like I bought like campfire heat tents, like little like string tents, like mad shit, and
Yeah.
like the more I researched, I was like, oh, I'm missing that, I'm missing that, I'm
And
missing that,
you
and I'm
can
like, I
never
need that, I
fulfill.
need that, I need
Yeah.
that too, and I'm like, fuck, I need weapons, I need
And you
this,
end
I
up
need
with a
this,
house.
bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's never enough. Nothing is if you man. It's again back to square one. Everything. You know, the way you feel comes from within and the acts that you do. So by doing esteemable acts, helping people, being there for your neighbor, you know, shoveling the lady's snow, all that shit makes you feel good with yourself. You know what I mean? If you're not doing shit like that and you're being a bum, which I've, you know, lived that way a long time, I go back and forth. I'm not perfect. Last episode, I was eating clean. So this is what happened to me, man, with the eating clean, right? Is that I was eating super clean. Everything was good, right? I picked food from a farm. And then I moved to New Hampshire, right? And I moved into the middle of nowhere where there was just gas stations, right? So gas station food. So even the bags of nuts that you had yogurt, shit in it. It was all bad, right? So I was finding it very difficult to eat because I was painting houses out there for a living, right? So I couldn't leave lunch and drive fucking 40 minutes somewhere to have a vegan meal. Like, it was just too much to prepare. I couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
So eventually they ordered pizza, right? So they knew that I wasn't eating that type of shit. And they were like, well, what are we going to do for Charlie? And they were like, Charlie better eat some fucking pizza. And then I thought to myself, like, what am I going to do, man? I'm going to starve. And I started eating pizza. And like anything else, that snowballed into fucking everything else, man. You know? So my eating is poor right now. And you know what? It just, everything is what it is. Damn, this is very hard for me to say to the public, you know what I'm saying? Is like, sometimes I don't see the point in anything. And when I say that, I mean, I fight demons, my demons, on a daily basis, right? I love to drink. I love to do drugs. I love to write graffiti. I love to chill out with my graffiti friends. I love to go to bars. I love to protect my friends. I like to get to fight with my boys and all that, right? I'm getting a little older now, so that's going out the window. But sometimes I enjoy that excitement. Oh, I think I will. So, I mean, every day for me is a fight to do the next right thing. Now I have a girl with a kid, and I have to think about, you know, if I go out and do something wrong, what I'm bringing back to the house. People retaliate, man.
Of course.
So if I go out there and I fucking fuck somebody up, or, you know what I mean, or destroy my neighborhood and write graffiti, and it comes back on me, that kid has to go to school. He has to deal with the public, and you know what type of man am I gonna be?
Like there's other people who are kind of dependent almost on your actions, or they'll feel the ripple effects if something goes down.
Well, we'll put it like this. I started tattooing recently, right? Now, a lot of people are telling me during Corona, why don't you tattoo out of the house? And I do not, right? It's unethical, right? And other people put me in a position to have that space to tattoo, right? If I don't follow those rules and those laws, my tattoo license will be suspended. It becomes a reflection on the other people that work in the shop. It just snowballs. Everything snowballs. So like, I took the hard road for a very long time. I just learned to become compliant. And that's when we're talking about the Corona thing, I'm even compliant with that now. I'm just beat the fuck down. I give up. The fight is like out of me when it comes to everything. It's just like, I just try not to. I try to like just be a good person to everybody.
Yeah.
To be even to the like I just try to be a good individual in the eyes of society.
Yeah. In terms of like the whole RV thing, so Corona started, and then you kind of had that RV, and then how did you find out where to park it? You just kind of drove it to wherever, or how does that work?
Yo, I did a lot of research, right? So when I had that epiphany that the Rolex meant nothing, living in a gated community didn't mean anything, right? I was still susceptible to violence. It happened to me one morning. I left my crib from my gated community, right? And a car drove by me really fast, and they almost sideswiped me. And I slammed on my brakes. And that car slammed on its brake. We were both like that, right? You can't hesitate in these situations. Mm-hmm. And I fucking sat there and I thought and I hesitated. I didn't hop out the car. I didn't run up to the other car. I was stuck and I had a decision to make. I said, am I going to get out and run up on this car knowing that I'm in Florida, everybody has guns, that they could just fucking gun me down and they'd be in the right because it's like a hold your square fucking type deal, you know what I mean? So shit, I got lost, man. But
I was just asking about like how you did a lot of research when it came to the
I started looking up alternative living because I was making all this money, and just as fast as I was making it, just as fast as it was going, even being careful. I acquired a nice car, which costs more for car insurance, which costs more for oil changes, which in every fucking way, man. Yep. So I acquired all these things that required constant maintenance. Then I realized, right? So I had the black Lexus champagne interior. It's fast. I loved it. It was very beautiful, right? I realized I couldn't drink coffee in there. I didn't even want people getting in the car with their shoes on. I wanted them to take their fucking shoes off. I washed my car every day. I was a part of a car club. I woke up in the morning. I drove to the car wash. I got it washed. If I went home later on in the day, ate all that, I came back out. I got my car washed again. Like just to keep it clean and shit. So I realized, especially in snow, I bought the Lexus back here in the snow, was worthless. So I needed more, I needed things that were suited for everything, right?
Functionality.
I needed a truck,
yeah,
right? Because 4-wheel drive, that gets you through the snow. It gets you, you know what I mean? So I could spill coffee in the truck. I don't wash my fucking truck, right? I never washed it. It looks great, and I'm happy with it. I can throw anything in it. I throw garbage in the back, like whatever. I don't care. So, I started to see that I needed to make practical use out of the shit that I had. And being practical to me was to not being a slave, because that causes stress, right? So I wanted a way to be stress-free. How do you become stress-free? By eliminating things that cost maintenance and things you don't need and stuff. So I got rid of everything that I didn't need, and as time went on, I got rid of more stuff, because you really don't need much, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what you do need is this motherfucker up here to be tight.
Yeah, well, that's like a thing. People think the more money you make is how you become less stress free, but like you said, the more money you make, the more things you want. The more things you want, those things just add up, and then the money you have isn't even enough. You need more, and like
more money, more problems. Yeah. Big said it. You know what I mean? And that's what it comes down to. And it's not only that. It's protecting everything you have too. Everybody's trying to get it from you. The government's trying to take your whip. The government's trying to take your house. People buy houses outright, right? You still have to pay property tax. You don't pay that property tax, they're taking your house. I didn't want to own anything that could be taken from me. That was the point, right? I bought my RV cash. You asked me, back to the original question, where would you park it?
Yeah.
My plan was to get a little piece of land in the cut and have it like on the low somewhere. What I did was I winded up taking jobs where I worked on properties. That's like, I based my life around that lifestyle. So I made sure I found a job that I worked on properties that were like abandoned, that I will be able to park my RV and live. So that's how I did it. But since I realized I don't need all that space no more, now I would probably go into something smaller, which I'm thinking about doing, as far as like a little box truck, like a U-Haul truck, or like just something to, get out there.
Well, do you necessarily care where you live? Do you care what state you live in?
No.
Not at all, right?
I loved everywhere I lived. You
Yeah.
see, I lived all those places.
That's what I'm saying. You lived in all these places. Like, do you care where? Because some people's like, I have to live in New York, or I have to live in.
I don't care. I enjoy everywhere I go. I enjoy every race of people. I love everywhere. I don't, everything is temporary, right? You don't. I chose a life to where that pretty much I don't have children, that I could move freely, especially like my job choices, like of driving trucks, or I could move around and like get out there. So I enjoy living in different states, meeting different cultures of people and stuff like that. So.
What about in terms of, so you were talking about like living off the grid in the cut, like I'm assuming you were by yourself completely out there, right?
I was.
So, a lot of people, like, they think that sounds nice and like it's peaceful, but like when you get down to it and you start living there night by night, day by day,
it's scary.
It takes a toll on your mental in a way. Like, not a lot of people can handle that's what I'm trying to say. So I was wondering, like, how did you feel, let's say, like, the first week or the first day, the first night? How did that...
All right, so I lived, right? So I guess you guys seen on my Instagram, or people that follow me, of where I lived. I lived miles down an unpaved dirt road in the middle of the New Hampshire woods. It was scary at first. It's pitch black. There's all types of creatures, bears, all types of, I can't begin to tell you, like animals that none of us really know. They're fucking scary, So I was afraid at first, right? And imagine being in this fucking paper thin thing. An RV is like you could punch through the wall basically, and like a bear could probably tip your shit over and like get you out of there and fucking eat you.
A can opener.
So after a while, you really start to realize like nothing's gonna happen, bro. Like the chances of something happening, you start to realize like nothing's gonna happen, bro. And if it happens, hope you want to be prepared. I was prepared to as much as I could be. I could have been a little better prepared. But I had some things to make me feel safe inside, and being alone. So being like, I'm a person that could be in solitary confinement for years and not break a sweat. Like I enjoy being alone. I would probably say I am my own best friend. I like entertain myself. My imagination is busy, and I guess I fantasize a lot about who I want to be and what, like, I'm constantly working on myself, and that's being mindful. So I'm like very mindful. So like outside things, like, I don't really get lonely. I don't know, I just say like, as far as girls go, like once I beat off, bro, but I'm good. Like I ain't thinking about a girl no more. So I found, like there's, like, if that's the deal, look, it's very nice. I'm in love, and like, that's great. But on the other hand, I'm okay with being by myself. A lot of people can't do that because they're not okay with who they are, right? And they go sit down, they fight like demons in the head, and all that. Like, I don't take myself so seriously, like what people say about me, or like I'm not really concerned with that shit. I'm concerned with real shit, like the real issues, and like nothing at the end of the day. At the end of the day, nothing really matters, right? No one's going home. No one's thinking about me and my life and what the fuck I've done. You might have some losers out there that are like, like want to hate on you and shit like that. But to me, it's almost like a compliment in a way, because I know who I am. I'm an ill fucking dude, man. I'm very proud of who I am. So a herb can't take that from me, and you kind of, if you can't match up to me, you just make yourself look stupid. You know what I mean? Because people can't see me on a lot of levels, man. So I don't pay attention to that.
You've been talking about the whole, like, you've had this living off the grid thing in your mind for a minute though, right? Because I was looking on your Instagram and you were talking about how there was a point in time where you were living in Florida and you thought about getting a North Face tent and just living like low down somewhere, and then you'd shower using the beach showers.
Yeah, like I started to figure it out, right? I started to have like what was available to me, right? Like I have a gym membership at Planet Fitness. You can shower there.
Yeah.
So like if you lived in a trailer and you had no running water, there's Planet Fitnesses everywhere. Like no matter where you are, even when I lived that far away, there was a Planet Fitness 20 minutes away. There was nothing else, but there was a Planet Fitness. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to shower there and shit like that. Eventually, I figured out other things, how to move. But anyway, what?
I feel like that's such a, I don't know, like for lack of a better term, maybe like a graffiti way of thinking, because like, graffiti writers, like they get over, or they live in different ways, and that whole like, like I don't live in one place, I just like travel here, travel there, or maybe I live in a North Face tent, or I live in an RV and I get my water through this. It's like you're like getting over, you're not paying rent.
Yeah,
you're not
I'm looking to live for like free, but with being comfortable too.
Yeah.
The funny thing is like I had my friends, like some people that don't write, when they hear me talk, because I have a lot of normal friends, very good people that are successful, right? And I'm like, yo, I'm going to get a North Face tent because what I was seeing? I was seeing castles, fucking castles, right? Castles, gated castles on the beachfront, right? These people lived in it 2 weeks out of the year. I mean, that kind of money, right? I'm thinking, yo, I could go back on that back fucking porch, right? No one's there. I could set up a tent and like live on the beach, and people are like, Charlie, that's what homeless people do. And I was like, oh, like that, that's what homeless people do. But I feel like I could do a class, but it's just something like, that I like explored, and like, yeah. So I started having the thought of like, since Florida, the weather is mostly very, very nice. Mm-hmm. Even when it rains, it's very short, and it's not like uncontrollable like out here.
And it dries up fast.
Yeah, it's like nothing.
Yeah.
So like, if you had an ill-ass tent, right? I don't really like watch TV. I'm always on my fucking phone, as everybody knows. It's like I have that. Like, yeah, I know about all this battery, solar shit, and I've done my research, so I could live very comfortably, with not a lot, and at the same time, be extremely happy, joyous, and free. We're not talking about I'm talking about being more happy living that way than living this way. It's a fact. I was way more happier without, this is called like bricks and sticks. Mm-hmm. So without that, just living like that.
I think humans, they adapt very well. Like when things get bad or they think they won't handle it, like I think humans could be surprised to how much they could adapt to. Like for example, I think in the beginning of the year we went to Puerto Rico. It was me, him, and one other friend, Max, and we didn't cop an Airbnb. We planned on just like sleeping out on the streets pretty much. So like the first night it was can't lie, it was kind of uncomfortable. Like we kind of freestyled. We slept in like this hammock. He slept on the floor,
Yeah.
like on a mattress. And then the second
Definitely
night,
wasn't a mattress.
the second night we were like, oh, we need some type of shelter. So we found some like abandoned storefront. So we slept under there, and like we got more stuff from Walgreens. We like wanted like gear we thought would make it better. So like slowly we were like getting used to like seeing what we needed to do that, you know. And like you said, I feel it's almost like a graffiti type of mentality where you know how to acquire these things, not like a regular person. You think outside of the box in a way where you can like see, oh, all right, I could sleep over there because I know my surroundings, and like you have a feel for it because of
Yeah.
graffiti in a way, you know.
Also, like, you're not limited as much by social constructs. So, you know, some of the people who you told this idea to, they might be like, no, because, and then they insert a word that's just like a social construct, because like that's not what normal people do. And then
Right.
that's it. They throw away the idea. But realistically, if you're happy doing it, and if it's not bothering anyone else, and you, like you said, you're genuinely happier than bricks and sticks, then what is the actual issue?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see the point. I don't see the point in a lot of things, but as far as like working so hard for a home and like that's really not yours. Like I fuck with like building a crib and having land and having, you know, not poisoned fucking water that we drink out of our faucet that what is it, fucking fluoride, and like, you know, like having well water and like, you know, kind of just being self-sufficient. For people who know what that means, you know, like not depending on anybody or anything. It's cool to depend on like-minded people, you know what I mean, to build and share, and like almost like there's nothing wrong with like even having little jobs and making money, but not where, you know, your job becomes your life, and like you going back to the same house and you're struggling every fucking month. How am I gonna pay this? Or if your house is paid off, then you gotta, the property tax is always a fucking catch, man. And like, you know, shit breaks, and you know, just being like a slave in general to anything, and that's anything. That's material goods. That's no material goods. That's alcohol, food. Being a slave to anything is not good, and I try not to be like. I just want to be a free spirit, and I don't want to have to worry about things I shouldn't have to worry about.
So do you have a fear of losing these things, though? Like you were talking about how...
Well, everything has got taken from me in my life, so yes, I have a very big fear of things getting taken from me, because everything that I ever owned has got taken from me.
Do you think that's part of the whole, like, not owning, or, you know, like you said, you don't like a house if it's not actually yours, if it can get taken from you, the RV in a way can't get taken from you, type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, for me, in my case, from my life experience, anytime I ever had anything was like stripped out of my hands. So, yeah, that is very true for me. That's why probably I don't want to own anything, because, you know, I'm tired of fighting everything and everyone. I'm tired, bro. I want to chill. I want to be happy. I want to be loved. I want to love other people. I want to be around good, happy people, no negative energy, people that fucking come in and spill their whole and complain. Like a lot of things, some people have hard lives and they experience a lot of death and things like that. And you're like, I feel for you. But at the end of the day, you have to pull yourself together, and you can't dump that shit on everybody else. And like, I don't want to be around those like type of people. That's why I feel like I'm always better off alone. Anytime I invite people into my life, they disrupt it, right? And they encourage me to do things that I don't really want to do. You know, do I want to go out and write graffiti in a snowstorm? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't. Do I do it? I don't. But if I had, like, my friend here, I'm going to get pulled outside and I'm going to be in a fucking snowstorm. You know, so yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah.
They're just like pretty much disturbing your peace of mind.
Yeah, I'm very
It's
peaceful.
like an obstacle.
I'm very peaceful when I'm alone. I'm a good, positive person. I'm like, my mind's on making tattoo flash now and cooking for my girl when she comes home. Like, that's where my mind's at. But when I involve other people, they bring me somewhere else or to the past. Like I was, like a lot of people consider me like the OG and all that. And I was like living up to a certain, I say a lot of shit I don't mean. I did another podcast the other day. I'm like, oh, I'll fucking kill this one, and I'll fucking kill a fucking CO. Like, I'm not doing none of that.
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
and I go off on tangents, and like, really deep inside, all I want is peace and love, man. And like, I'm trying to find that, and that's what like going off the grid was providing me. I felt very, very at peace. I was so happy. Let me tell you about this, and this is people for you, right?
Yeah.
I lived on properties that were being fixed. When I lived in my trailer, nobody wanted to look at it, right? Then, like, they didn't even want to peek their head in. Then they started peeking their head in, they were like, wow, this is really fucking nice. Wow, you have everything you need. You have a stove, you have a fridge, you have a bed, a queen-size bed, like, you have a bathroom, you have a shower. Wow, this is fucking amazing. I actually wish I could do this. I'm blown away. And then you know what started to happen? They started to hate on me. When they seen me and came out of my trailer, and like they had to get in their car and fucking go home and scrub fucking paint off them. And I was like, see you guys later. And I walked 2 feet away, got in my trailer, started a campfire, put the fucking chair there, got a glass of lemonade. They got full of fucking hatred, man. And they got mad at me. So these guys with their big homes, their pretty wives, all this shit that they have, right? Were fucking mad as hell at me for the way I was living and the way how happy I was. And people are really fucked up, man. So that wind up didn't work out. It didn't work out for me, man. They started to not get along with me. I didn't do anything. I was just, like I'm not crazy. Mm-hmm. I seen it in their faces. I seen it in their behavior. It was making them sick to see me full of joy. So I wanted to put in the trailer in storage, right? And I was with my girl the whole time, but I wanted my own space, man, to be honest with you. Yeah. I was here all the time, right? But, like, I had work, and I would go home to my trailer, and like, yeah, but now, I'm here, and we're happy, and it's good. But it's always good to have your own fucking shit, right? Some people have art studios. They have, like, that's what their RV might be like. You go to their art studio, they have everything they need there, and they're able to sleep there the night if they want, or whatever the case is. Like, so, it's always good to have your own shit. And that was my own shit, but when you depend on other people,
that's what
people are going to fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to be careful who's in your life.
So how did you begin the whole tattoo journey?
Yo, what?
Did you ever before this period try it out or?
So I did apprentice at a tattoo shop in Florida called Tradition Tattoo.
Okay.
But I owned 6 halfway houses at the time. So being taken in as an apprentice is such an honor, and you are so fortunate if you ever have that opportunity. Those people really fucking liked me, right? And they gave me an apprenticeship. But part of my apprenticeship was I had to do 5 watercolor paintings a week. Now, I was very busy, right? When I say busy, legit, I left my house at 6:30 in the morning, and I didn't get home till 9, 10 at night from a normal day. So the last thing I wanted to do was something new, and something like watercolor, which I'd never done before. And so the bottom line is that I didn't produce 5 watercolor paintings at all, ever. So after some time, they were like, yo, we asked you to do this. You're not living up to what you said you were going to do. We got to part ways. I was still cool with them, and I'm still great friends with them. But that's how my apprenticeship winded up ending. The funny thing is that it's probably something I should have been doing for a very long time. But the bottom line is that my girlfriend owns a tattoo shop. And there's a guy there named J.O. He's a piercer. It's at Bang Bang Body Arts. And he told me, Charlie, why don't we try to get you tattooing again? And I wasn't really, caught me off guard. This was unexpected. I went there to pick up my girlfriend. I had the dog. I wasn't prepared for that. But he threw it out there and he mentioned it. I said, it might be something that I'll do. And he was like, yo, why don't you, look for your old tattoo license and then, try to apply out here. Just do it. And my girl edged me on. She said, let's just send it in and see what happens. And I winded up getting my tattoo license again. And that's another thing, is that with tattooing, it's not a friendly fucking... It's not a welcoming environment or a trade. Mm-hmm. Everyone is very standoffish. People were upset that I was starting to tattoo. They're scared they're gonna take walk-ins or whatever the case is, and that's not. I'm not saying like at my shop, but from what I'm hearing from it's not something. It's like being 40 years old and someone saying, hey, I think I'm going to start writing graffiti. What do you think about that? Uh-huh. You'd be like, bro, you're 41. You missed that boat. Look for something else to do. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like what happened. But anyway, I decided to give it a shot. And I did my first tattoo. And it was extremely difficult. I thought I was going to be a lot better than what I was. I thought I was going to, since I have a good steady hand, I thought I was going to be able to pull a good steady line. And it is so fucking hard. I cannot stress to you how hard it is. But anyway, through my, I know a lot of people know me, and they were willing. So I've been tattooing every day. Mm-hmm. People like, you could tattoo me. So I invite them to the shop and I tattoo them. I tattoo them for free, and I'm learning how to tattoo. And it's extremely difficult. It's going to take me a very long time. But I'm confident that I could be a good tattooer.
Yeah, I was going to say how, you're familiar with tattoos. You've been getting tattooed for the big majority of your life. You have friends that own shops, friends that have a lot of tattoos. So that's what I was going to ask. Like, what did you think of the act itself? Because I seen on your Instagram you were giving props to like tattoo artists, how a lot of people are like, oh, he finished in 20 minutes and it was like $500. Like, what's up with that? Why do they skimp us? But like you were saying,
the skill that it takes, right? The skill that it takes a tattoo, right? I know a lot of famous tattoo artists, right? I've been around a long time, and it's not like, I'm heavily tattooed. Before Lil Wayne, before fucking it was popular to be tattooed, I had my fucking face tattooed. I was way ahead of that curve. I didn't give a fuck for a really long time. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, fuck, I get so lost. Where we at?
No, I was saying how tattoo artists, they should be treated like more respect.
Yeah, they should. Listen, when somebody does something, right, and they're good at it and they're fast, they put a lot of effort into being that good and that fast. So you're paying for all the years that they put in that work. It's the same thing with me, buying something from me. It's what you could buy some really dope fucking, I'm not going to say a name, you could buy some shit like that, or you could fuck with some real shit. That people that really put that work in and fucking on every level. You know what I mean? There's being real and all that shit is not really celebrated, man. Right? So you're a real good tattoo artist. People are going to specifically like bad tattoo artists. Like that's the look. And like, I mean, just for like to save a couple dollars, something like that. Yeah, tattooing is extremely fucking hard, and that's why it's expensive. Yeah.
So what's your plan with this? Do you want to get a position at a shop?
I am at a shop.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
So you're fully there now?
I'm there.
Oh, sick,
Yeah,
man.
I'm there. I don't I'm not charging right now for what I'm doing.
What do you think the hardest part is about, like, what when you said you're gonna
Depth,
try
the
it?
depth of the skin. So I've been tattooing thighs. People say that's very hard because of how soft the skin. And you got to stretch the skin. You got to get that, tattoo needle in there, and you got to pull at that level, like at a certain speed and a certain depth. It's very, very difficult.
I think I saw someone comment saying it's like drawing with a jackhammer.
Yeah, I mean, look, you gotta have that baby in there right, and to start off anything and do something right, it's like impossible. It takes a lot of fucking work. So I mean, I have a lot to learn, and yes, I wanna be a tattooer, and I wanna take tattooing seriously, which I do, and I'm dedicating all my time and effort into that.
It's exciting, man.
It is exciting.
Picking up something and just starting from the bottom.
I'm corny, man, because like I did this shit, and then I met some kid last night I tattooed, and I like love the kid. He's mad cool, and then I realized like, this dude got some Charlie the Hustler shit on it out of respect. You know what I mean? You know what's funny too, is that like a big tattooer, well known, world known, sent them to me, and said, "Yo, you should get tattooed by him." So that was like an honor, bro, because that's what I'm talking about. But like I said, the game ain't that welcoming, but the real motherfuckers, they always welcome into me.
It's like graph, man. It's like if you're a toy and stuff like that. If you're just starting, no one's gonna be nice to you. One of the things that I feel like stands out about you is that, at least in graph, you're big on like being nice to everyone, showing love to everyone, showing love to the next man, even if they're toy, even if you quoted like somewhere on Instagram how you don't care if they're toy.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't, because I care about them as a person. So I'm not looking at them at their graffiti. I'm looking at them like this is a person.
Go, keep going. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking at them like, this is a human being, man, and they're reaching out and they're showing love, bro, right? And they might write graffiti and suck, or they might be the next fucking whoever.
Yeah, I mean, how many?
I mean, some people, when you stick with something long enough, you become something.
Of course.
Right? So whether that kid sticks or stays, at least while he's here, I could be kind and show him love. Because I was shitted on by a lot of fucking OGs and people to this day that I looked up to that give me like some half-ass handshake. Kids that I idolized, man. Yeah. I loved these dudes, man. They were my whole world. They were like, people love rappers and shit. They were like rappers to me. And I loved them. And I wanted their acceptance. And I wanted them to, maybe just say hello to me and shit. And they didn't. And I don't want to do that to other people, because you know what? At the end of the day, man, what is being a jerk off? How's that even gonna like? It's not. It's conducive to everything. Like, you're hurting him. You're hurting your own spirit. It's I've done a lot of off the cuff, embarrassing things, and I want people to have a good experience with me when they meet me. You know what I'm saying? I want people to meet Charlie and be like, yo, I really fuck with that kid. That kid's cool. He's a good person. And I've done some things to maybe sometimes where people might not think that. I'm human, and I have, I grew up around a lot of sickness. I came a really long way when it comes down to those things. I'm like the only one in my family who ever went to college or accomplished these goals or so as far as like my lineage and where I'm supposed to be, you know, I'm doing better than the rest. So, um, I just want to be kind and loving to people, man. Show love, man.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about how when you first started writing graph, it was to become a known graph writer because that was your thing. That was your goal. You wanted to be known in graffiti.
I wanted
Then
to be famous for graffiti.
and you started meeting all your idols in graffiti, and you
Yeah.
didn't really like them as people.
No.
And then you kept writing for the sake of a legacy, but
Yes.
meanwhile you're fucking up your life while you're here for a legacy after you die.
To be put up by people that I don't like. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm damaging my life on Earth to create a legacy for when I'm gone, but I'm damaging my time here.
Mm-hmm.
Like once I started to realize that, when you really look at that, or impressing people that don't care for me or that I don't even care for, that I want to be accepted by people that I don't like or respect. That makes you say, whoa, what the fuck am I doing, man? Like, what am I doing this for? Now, I love graffiti, so I do graffiti because I love it. But why I'm doing it, I'm not doing it to hurt anybody. I'm not doing it to hurt property owners. Yo, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I didn't write during the pandemic. I didn't go out and destroy people's property, right? People are hanging on by the threads. Everybody's struggling. You think somebody wants to come in and see a filling on their gate, bro? I know a lot of people ain't gonna like that, but I don't want to hurt nobody, man. I don't want that lady to come in or that guy and be like, "Fuck, another fucking thing this morning." Like, that's not what it's about. There's ways to do shit, and trashing your fucking community and shit like that is not the man that I want to be, man. And that's it. I'm trying to find other alternatives as far as like doing art and like tattooing and more healthier outlets, because at the end of the day, like I said, I don't want to put negative shit into the stream of life, man. I just don't. And that's on me, and that's my shit, and like yeah, I don't want to hurt nobody, and that's it.
And then last thing I was thinking about was, like I said, I was re-listening to the last episode, and you were reminiscing while we were talking about living in Flatbush, and then I think Louie and Gusto were living with you, and then going out, you're gonna go do some outlines. Do you ever reminisce on those times? Just when you're living in the woods, or when you're doing this thing day to day and you're living like a totally different life now. You ever reminisce on like being that like young wild graffiti writer who just out in the streets doing God knows what, getting into whatever?
Well, yes. So and I wind up sometimes sucking my own self back into that. So I was doing really good when I was in my trailer the first time, right? I was doing good. And I started out of boredom, right, from being in the trailer. I started to talk to people on the phone, which I'm not a big phone talker and shit like that. I started to talk to people, so I started to talk to this kid Baker Man a lot, right? This is not his fault, right? But he's a youngster, just started writing graffiti, and he wanted me to write. So eventually, after asking me for months and months to write, I did, right? But I was drinking beers, and I had to drive to New York, and I got a DUI, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got 2 DUIs in a month going to his house. So I'm home, chilling, reminiscing about graffiti, talking about it. Fuck it, I'll come out, I'll do something. And then I wind up getting arrested on the way there. So that's what I mean by, like, by other people and being mindful of like what I could do and what I can't do. I have a bad criminal history, man. So I'm not the type of dude that gets in trouble. and gets let go very easily at all. I don't get a bail. I don't get those things, right? So what happens is that it's a joke to everybody else, and everybody can fuck around, but I can't fuck around. So I wind up going to jail and going to prison and all this shit, and they wind up going home, eating pancakes in the morning, and I'm fucking fighting not to get my sneakers taken. So I learned from that. So I just like I said, I retired, man. And I try to guide the youth in the right direction. They all reach out to me, and I try to put in front of them what's important and what's not, man. Like what is it all for? Because there's other things you could do that are similar but safer.
Yeah. Yeah, I respect that, bro, because not a lot of these OG heads or legends in the graffiti world would say stuff like that. What they say is, when you hear them in interviews, what they say is, you better bomb hard, you better go all city, you better stick on paper, but you don't say any of those things. What you say is
because I realize also, right, I went all city, but there's nothing wrong with just being the king of your neighborhood, of your little 5-block radius. That's just as good. It's, you know what I mean? Like I said, at the end of the day, man, it's never enough. The maintenance to keep up, it's there's no finish line. There's no finish line. So you do what you're comfortable doing, and everybody sees everything. So if I do 3 things out here, every single writer in New York is going to know I did those 3 things out here. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. And believe me, it did come from putting in work, right? And but what I believe is like, whatever works for you, man. It don't work for me no more. It don't work for me. It might work for the next guy. For me, those days are pretty much over with, but I love it so much that I still do it because I enjoy doing it because I really love it. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say I agree, because like he asked me yesterday, we were just chilling, and he's like, "Who's your favorite writer?" And I was like, it took me a minute to think, because I know when I was a kid I could write down books and pages of writers from my neighborhood that I looked up to, but now it's like, after meeting a few of them, not on the podcast, just in general, like in the streets, it's like, you know, it breaks that image that, like, it's kind of like a Santa Claus like thing. Like, you have this like, wow, like this person's like a fucking god, you know, like when you're a kid, you're like, they did all these things, I look up to them, and then you realize who they truly are as a person, and it's sad, you know, it's hard to answer that question. It's like, who truly is my favorite writer? And then you look at their character, like you said, and it's funny because you got brought up, and how like it matters who the person is at the end of the day. It doesn't matter about their graffiti, you know. And I think the word you keep spreading out, man, it's what this world needs, you know. And I have this like dream, I still have it. It's like, with all this like chaos right now, people are like breaking out of their routine with this whole corona thing, like the world, you don't know what's going on, upside down, whatever. It's like I have this dream of this commune, like this community of like genuinely passionate people of just good vibes, and it's you know,
I always wanted to start a commune.
It would be fucking dope. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not even hard. The thing that makes this hard is people.
Yeah.
Because we could go, put some money together, we could buy 50 acres of land for not a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we could all have an acre, 50 motherfuckers, right? And be way spread out, acre apart, but people can't pull together to do that.
It's those societal structures. They're like, what is everyone going to think of me if I leave my this, if I leave my that?
You know what everybody's going to think of you? No one's going to think of you. No one gives a fuck. No. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
No one will be thinking about you.
And it's funny because we can like, if we start a community, we could throw these fucking things in the ocean, and like we don't need that.
Bro, listen,
we'll
my cell phone right now, right? You're going to die. I don't have data. I have Text Now. That's an app. Text Now. They send you a SIM card. You pay $10. They send you a SIM card. You have unlimited calling and unlimited text forever. You paid that $10 one time forever. That's what I have. There's enough fucking Wi-Fi in the world, right, to where I don't need to pay for a phone bill. I do not have a phone bill. Yeah, I don't have data. You know what? I have data in the house. I have data at the shop. If I'm going to go somewhere and I need GPS, you could download the map where you have Wi-Fi. It's a little inconvenient sometimes, but very little, just for the thought that's like, I'd rather have that. Like, fuck you. I don't have your data and your fucking...
Yeah.
I mean, yo, that's
cloud.
that getting over shit, man, that I was talking about. I
getting
mean,
over.
right before we got here, we were just talking with my boy, and he's just like, yeah, like, I shipped out all these things, and instead of paying for the things, you flip them inside out, and then you pay less if you flip them inside out, or like something like that. I'm like, who thinks of these things?
Yeah, man.
And it's like that graph, right, or shit, like, oh, $10 for a SIM card, no data, download the map, and then like a bunch of little ways of you kind of get the same thing. But
I have
way
no
less.
phone bill. I have zero bills, bro. I own my truck. If you own your truck in New Hampshire, you don't even have to have car insurance.
Wow.
So my shit is New Hampshire. You know what I'm saying? I have no phone bill. I have no car insurance. I don't throw my money away, man.
That's the thing, throwing your money away. That's what a lot of people do.
I don't burn my money up. It goes to supplies. I don't rack. I go to Michael's. I buy my shit. Right? That's why, like, I charge too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't, I go and buy my shit. When you go to Michael's and you buy a couple things, it's $100.
Yeah.
Yeah, it costs me money. Then to ship it out, it's another $20. It costs bread. So I mean, I've, like, I try to do things the right way, man.
So you like I've seen a few times that you talk about how like you work, you like to buy your stuff, you like to, I guess, in some sort of way be a contributing member. So you don't. Are you super? Was there a point in your life where you just racked so much that now you just like you just don't?
I've done all that. I grew up. Listen, man. A lot of people. I've been writing graffiti forever, and I've been racking forever. In 5th grade, when I was doing my homework, the older kids used to knock on my door, get me away from my mother, take me 8 blocks away. They used to make me run, give me a jacket, and distract the guy, and I used to fill the jacket. I gave Nairo paint when I was a little fucking kid. Like, people know me from the neighborhood. I was always a fucking racking graffiti writer. I've done those things. It don't make me fucking feel good. Now, does getting ripped off for fucking paint make me feel good? No. But if you do everything within your means, if you do respectable things within your means, it makes you feel good. You know what I mean? I don't want to fucking... You think I want to go to the neighborhood Home Depot where I go and me and my girl grout in the bathroom and shit like that, and I want to go in there and fucking steal and maybe get away with it, but have some managers in there and shit look at me like, yo, this dude takes our paint all the time. Like, I don't want that, bro. I want people to look at me and be like, hey, Charlie, what's up?
Yeah.
What can we help you with today?
Yeah. You don't want to like hide behind some actions.
I don't want to feel fucking like a scumbag. I don't want to feel like a scumbag. At all. Ever. I want to feel like a good, respectable person.
You've already sacrificed enough for Graph, like you were saying in the last episode, bro. You got stabbed, you got locked up, you got all this stuff. And I guess one of the main messages that if it was me listening to this from a third person, and I was, whoever you are listening to this, if you're super, super young, I would just kind of get the thought process of like, yeah, you could write Graph, but there might be some, depending on how you do it, there might be some stuff that happens that comes along with it, like a lot of it has happened to you in your life.
Everything that could go wrong with graffiti happened to me. I'm just one of those people where I paid the ultimate. Every time I wrote, I got arrested, pretty much. You know what I mean? Like, I paid the ultimate price. And I'm still that guy. I'm still Charlie the fucking hustler. It's my life. It's who I am. I love who I am. I'm not, but what I'm saying is that this, you don't really, like, what do you benefit from this? Yo, when I hear train riders talk, they make me sick, man. People, like the old train riders, like they talk all this shit and they're all high and mighty. You could walk in a pizza yard back in the day with a fucking 10 pies of pizza and fucking have a block party in there and paint and nothing happens to you. You wouldn't even get arrested. So for us or me or people that go now, the repercussions are 1,000 times harder. Rikers Island is 1,000 times worse. Everything's 1,000 times worse than back then. Mm-hmm. So all these fucking high and mighty, these are the people with shitty attitudes, like train riders. Fuck your train. Fuck you, Cho-Cho. Fuck you. You fucking piece of shit. Suck my dick.
You talking about Subway? You talking about freights? You talking about...
Nah, freights are cool. I'm talking about like old school New York City train riders.
Okay.
With their shitty, stinky fucking attitudes. They think they're the shit. They're fucking, bro, it's so easy to write back then, man. It was so easy.
You think it was easier?
Do I think? Yeah, they weren't even fucking fenced in. You walked up to them. Nobody cared. Cops did not care about graffiti. Nobody cared. It was like almost legal.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the people with the most fucking... Those are people hating on us.
And then people try to live up to their standards of what they said in videos and interviews.
What standards? A lot of them hardly did anything. They hardly did anything. They done some things when they're younger, in their teenage years, when it didn't even matter anyway. Try being 40 years old and writing graffiti for a living, like I do. That's hard. So don't fucking knock me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course, bro. But yo, thank you for allowing us into your crib, bro.
Yep.
Thank you so much, man. Yo, I hope your tattoo journey kicks off, man. You deserve something fucking good, man, and something stable. We truly hope that kicks off.
It's gonna happen, 100%.
It will kick off,
No,
and
it will.
I hopefully later today I'll get some shit.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
All right, peace.
Yeah.
Bro, Charlie the Hustler.